everybody. I'm Neha. Today I'm going to read a book called The Case of the Bad Apples by Robin Newman, illustrated by Deborah Zimek. The Case of the Bad Apples. Boys and girls, this case is about some bad apples on Edge Farm. Over 100 animals live on this farm. Most work, some horse around, others steal. That's where I come in. Mine is Detective Wilcox. I'm a police mouse. The boss is Captain Griswold. We're MFIs, missing food investigators. It's our job to investigate cases of missing food. But strangely, in this particular case, food appeared where it wasn't expected. Whatever the food, whatever the crime, we make the bad guys do the time. It was 7 o'clock, Wednesday morning. The captain and I were finishing the paperwork on a poached egg case when the phone rang. Case file 9295, the bad apples. 7 o'clock a.m., headquarters. MFI, Wilcox here. This is Dr. Alberta Inswine from Hog Emergency Care. What's up, Doc? I got an interesting case. I think Porcini might have been poisoned. Poisoned? I asked. What happened? This morning, he found a gift basket of apples in front of his pen. Naturally, he pigged out. Well, he is a pig. He wolfed down most of the apples, cores, seeds, and part of the basket too. Then he got sick as a dog. Thing is, he's not a dog. A pig like him shouldn't have gotten sick from eating apples. Lucky for him, an anonymous squealer called Swine I for help. Did you run a talk screen? I'm off to do that now, said Dr. Einswine. Porcini is still green around the gills, but stable and resting in his pen. I hope the MFI can get some answers. We're on it. Captain, we got a code 22, attempted Ham's laughter. So, this is Detective Wilcox. That's the emergency, and that's the pig who's taking care of Porcini. And this is the pig calling about Porcini getting poisoned. Here's Wilcox and the captain rushing in a police car to go at the crime scene. We hopped in the cruiser and the captain turned to the siren. Rush hour traffic was heavy. Road hogs. They're squealing, oinking, and grunting, but they finally let us pass. Typical road hogs. Typical indeed. These are the hogs. Chapter 2, the crime scene. 7:20 a.m., Porcini's pen. Detective, you got to save my bacon, squealed Porcini. Give me the facts and just the facts, I said, pulling out my notepad and pen. Right after Colonello Peck crowed, my sessional snout picked up the smell of delicious apples. Aren't delicious apples red? I asked, pointing to a chewed up green apple on the ground. So, this is Porcini, and that's Wilcox and the captain. Porcini looks sick. Oh, I didn't mean red delicious apples. I meant delicious as in yummy. My snout led me straight to this basket of apples. What did you do then? I went hog wild and made a pig of myself. Wouldn't you? The captain flashed me his "no way I'm a mouse" look. Everybody knows an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I figured I'd be as healthy as an ox if I ate the whole basket. Instead, my tummy hurts. Any idea who left the apples and why? I asked. Everybody's been mad at me because I beefed up pen security. Everyone? I questioned. Who's everyone? Sweet Pea, the new piglet next door, Herman, the vermin, the dirty rat, and Hot Dog. They've all been sneaking into my pen and stealing my food, whined Porcini. Look at me, I'm skinnier than a string bean. I looked. Porcini was a little green, but he didn't look anything like a string bean. So this is Porcini. That's the basket with chewed up apples. Here are the mice. They're investigating the apple right here. I had to do something. First, I locked the door between my pen and Sweet Peas. Next, I covered the holes Herman had dug. Then I put in an alarm that rang whenever Hot Dog or anyone else was poking around my slop. Without video cameras, I asked, a video might have picked up an image of the perp. I guess I should have installed those too. Owie, my tummy hurts, Porcini groaned. Anyone who might have seen who left the basket? I asked. Check with Sweet Pie next door. Perp, that's the bad guy who committed the crime. The captain inspected the basket. It could easily hold half a bushel of apples, about 34 medium-sized apples. With a bow on the handle, it looked like a gift. But who was it from? 4 apples were left. The captain's whiskers twitched. I knew what that meant. Granny Smith apples for sure. These items were evidence. They needed to be labeled and bagged carefully. The captain taped off the crime scene and dusted for prints while I took photographs. Evidence, clues that may help solve cases. So there's Porcini. That's Wilcox taking pictures of the apples and with a magnifying glass. And there's the captain locking down the scene, so nobody can come. Captain, did you see this? Hoof, claw, and paw prints. I did a quick sketch in my notebook, showing the location and direction of the prints. Thanks, Porcini. We have what we need for now. I shut my notepad. Feel better. We made a quick stop at headquarters to drop off the evidence at the forensics lab. Then it was time to grill the suspects. Captain, I said, if Porcini was poisoned, some rotten apple went to a lot of trouble to get rid of him. Some rotten apple indeed. Forensics lab, a place where evidence is examined. Suspects and clues, Chapter 3. 8:15 a.m., Sweet Pea's pen. Knock, knock, the captain rapped on the gate. Do I smell cheese donuts? Squealed the piglet. The captain forked one over. So here's a picture. The pig, and these are the 2 mice. Oh, and over here, Wilcox did a sketch of his garden and the houses in his notepad. Are you Sweet Pea? I asked. That's me, sweetest little pea in the pen, she said, batting her eyelashes. The piglet was a ham. Captain Griswold and Detective Wilcox, MFIs. I flashed my badge. Porcini got a gift basket of apples, but it wasn't much of a present. Those apples might have been poisoned. The apples were poisoned? Do you suspect they're poisoned? I guess we peed a 3rd degree. No, sir. Did you leave the poisoned apples for Porcini? No, sir, she said. I wouldn't hurt a fly. Did you see who left the basket? Sweet Pea swore she had been home all last night and this morning and hadn't seen anyone dropping off the apples or hanging around the pen. Look, here's a picture of Sweet Pea dancing. Here's a picture of Sweet Pea answering no, and poisoned. Here's a picture of Sweetie's also talking. A check of the MFI database showed the piglet's record was as squeaky clean as a spotless pen. The captain flashed me her pen might be too clean. Look, I had to agree. Not one crumb was out of place. There was no sign of apples or poison. The only thing that stood out was a copy of Snow White and a blanket on her bed, stitched with the words, "Love, Granny." "What a beautiful blanket," I said. I couldn't put my toe on it, but there was definitely something familiar about the blanket. Sweetie quickly hugged it to her chest. "It was a gift from a Granny Hammy." The captain handed Sweetie a card with the MFI hotline number. "If you remember anything, give us a ring," I told her. The captain and I hopped in a cruiser. Time, we had a word with Herman the rat. Frankly, this case was inched along at a snail's pace. At a snail's pace, indeed. So this is a picture of Sweet Pea's pen, and over here is the captain and the detective going in the car. 8:50 a.m., Herman's rusty old truck. The captain pounded on the door. "Scram!" came a voice from inside the truck. "I smell a rat," I whispered to the captain. "Herman, open up. MFIs." The truck window rolled down. "What do you want? I don't have time for rat finks." "We heard about your beef-foot porcini. That no-good pig-headed pig covered every hole I dug. The nerve! How am I supposed to steal his food now?" "Is that why you tried to poison him?" "Me? Poison porcini? Ha, I'd never waste good pork chops." When I asked Herman if he knew anything about the apples left in front of Porcini's pen, he denied it. Where were you last night?" I probed, trying to see if I had an alibi. The scowl on the captain's face read, "Answer the question before I haul your tail down to headquarters." "I went to the garbage dump. A rat's got to eat, and that's when everything went from the frying pan right into the fire." "What do you mean?" I asked. Alibi. Proof someone was somewhere else when a crime was committed. Here's a picture of Herman with the mouse. Here's a picture of the truck and the mouse. While I was scrounging for snacks, Fowler the owl grabbed me. "How did you get away?" Hot Dog threw something at Fowler. Bullseye! Got her right in the talons. She dropped me like a hot potato. "What did Hot Dog throw?" "Something round, like an apple." I glanced over at the captain. He gave me an apple like the ones in the basket look. Herman caught the look. He narrowed his eyes. "Hey, you two aren't trying to get me to rat on Hot Dog, are you?" "What color apple did Hot Dog throw?" I pressed, hoping Herman would spill the beans. Herman shrugged. "When Fowler dropped me, I hightailed it out of there. Apple. Apple." "Where were you this morning?" "Back at the dump. It was slim pickings. But on my way home, I passed Hot Dog practicing yoga with the goats." If Herman's story checked out, Hot Dog would have an alibi. Mind if we look inside your truck? You better have a warrant or it'll cost you a couple of cheese donuts. A warrant. A legal document that gives police the right to make an arrest or search a place. So here's a picture of them questioning Herman. Here's a picture about the story Herman said. Fowler and Herman, and that's Hot Dog. We didn't have a warrant, so the captain tossed him the donuts. We scurried the truck. What a rat's nest! Potato peels were everywhere, but no apples and no poison. Herman, we're done. Don't scamper out of time anytime soon. The captain and I jumped into the cruiser and made a quick stop at Fowler's. She confirmed Herman's story. The rat's alibi was solid. Next up was Hot Dog. He had some explaining to do about that possible absolute with an apple. He might very well be in the doghouse. In the doghouse, indeed. A salute, an attack. 10 a.m., Hot Dog's house. Bonk, an apple almost hit the captain on the head. He flashed me as Hot Dog is up a tree, look. Up a tree indeed, I said. Hot Dog, got a minute? Sure thing, detective. Want an apple? They're delicious. Hot Dog was right. They were delicious apples. Red, delicious apples. The captain shook his head. The crime scene apples were green. Here's a picture of Hot Dog. Hot Dog's up in a tree right there, throwing down an apple. There are two mouses and mice. And there's Herman enjoying his cheese donuts while they're searching the truck. Might as well be apples and oranges, I grumbled. Say, Hot Dog, we heard you left porcini in a stew yesterday. Porcini said I swiped his slop, which I didn't, and banned me from his pen. Why are you asking? Did you poison Porcini? I asked. Poison Porcini? You're barking up the wrong tree. Go ask Sweet Pea or Herman. They were kicked out too, and I heard Herman was madder than a wet hen. Right now we're talking to you. Where were you last night? Hot Dog repeated Herman's story that he had saved a rat from Fowler. What about this morning? I was doing downward dog at yoga class. Hot Dog gave us permission to search his doghouse. There were dog biscuits everywhere, but no sign of anything incriminating. Evidence that shows guilt of a crime. Then the captain spotted something under Hot Dog's bed. The something was round and green. The captain scurried underneath and pushed out. Okay, so before I flip to the next page, I'm going to show you the pictures. Here's a captain searching under the green thing under Hot Dog's bed. Here's a picture of Hot Dog with his apple while they're both on a roof of the doghouse. And remember, the doghouse isn't that big. Here's Hot Dog and the mice. And pushed out. Hey, thanks. I was looking for my tennis ball. Woofed. Hot Dog. We drove back to headquarters. From my desk, I called the goat shed. Yogi, the goatee, picked up. Detective Wilcox here. Was Hot Dog at your yoga class this morning? That was yoga for yes. Hot Dog's ability was outright tight. We were scraping the bottom of the apple barrel, that's for sure. Bottom of the apple barrel, indeed. Here's a picture of the dog and the tennis ball with the mouse. Here's a picture of the Wilcox calling the yoga class Hot Dog was in. For Chapter 4, Forensics. 12:02 p.m. headquarters. The captain and I took the elevator down to the forensics lab. Detectives, come look at this, said Dr. Phil. Okay, another photo. This is Dr. Phil, and they two are riding down the elevator. These two, this is his lab where he's working. There are 2 sets of hoof prints on all 4 apples left at the sea. I checked the database and the prints marked A are an exact match for Porcini. The prints marked B are similar to Porcini's but smaller. I couldn't find a match for them in our database. But they're pig prints? I asked. Definitely. All of the survivor samples on the chewed apples were marked for Porcini, so he was the only one who ate anything. No surprise there, I said. Now take a look at these crime scene photographs under the magnifying glass. See the four-toed front and five-toed back claw prints, most likely from a rat. You can also see clear paths toward Porcini's throat. That rat, I said. Here, these paw prints are consistent with that of a dog. They have a roundish shape and blunt claw marks. There isn't a straight trail, though. That low-down dog, can you identify the rat and dog? I asked. These are the prints. They're looking at the x-rays here. And here, they're also looking at the x-rays. Unfortunately, there's not enough here to make a positive ID. Strangest thing was that there's no trace of any kind of poison. Who could have poisoned Porcini without any poison? Think. I tossed the captain and Dr. Phil some cheese donuts. We were all pacing. 1, 2, 3 steps forward, 1, 2, 3 steps backwards. I pulled out my notepad and looked at my sketch of the crime scene. Holy baked apples! Just then the phone rang. Wilcox here, MFI. This is Dr. Einstein. Meet me at Porcini's pen. I've got his test results. We're on our way. Time we found out who had upset the apple cart. Upset the apple cart indeed. This is the pig doctor calling. This is the doctor told him about the fingerprints, and these are the mice. Chapter 5, Hogs and Kisses. 1:05 p.m. in front of the pig pens. Dr. Alberta and Inzwine was trotting up just as we got there. Sweet Pea was there too. Porcini, you may want to sit down, said Dr. Inzwine. I have the results of your talk screen. Is it bad news? He asked. I'm afraid, she started to say. How much time do I have? Days, hours, he choked up. Minutes? Your talk screen showed high levels of Porcini. Porcini looked scared, but it was Sweet Pea who was sweating like a pig. Ciandy. Not Ciandy, squeezed Porcini. Not Ciandy, gasped Sweet Pea. What's Ciandy? Asked Porcini. Poison. I was poisoned? Porcini turned lime green. His knees buckled. Okay. Here's a picture of the pigs. That's Porcini. That's Sweet Pea. That's Dr. Pig. That's Porcini turning lime green. That's Sweet Pea just normally. And these two guys look worried. His knees buckled. And he fainted. He was poisoned, said Sweet Pea. She turned pea green. Her knees buckled and she fainted. The captain placed a damp cloth on Sweet Pea's brow. Wow. Dr. Einstein told Porcini to take deep, slow breaths. It's time to fess up, Sweet Pea, I said. I'm so sorry, blubbered Sweet Pea as she came to. I never meant to hurt Porcini. It was you, urged Porcini. You're so sad. I just wanted to cheer you up with a basket of Granny Smith apples. Cross my hooves. I didn't poison anything. Well, if you didn't poison me, then who did? Was it Herman or Hot Dog? It wasn't Herman or Hot Dog, I said. Well, it had to be somebody, snorted Porcini. Who? Dr. Inzwine took a deep breath. It was you! Me? I poisoned myself? Porcini turned the color of bright red delicious apples. That's completely pig-diculous. That's supposed to be ridiculous, but since they're a pig, I think they're saying pig-diculous. Look, this is a page where he fainted, Porcini. And this is where the page where Sweet Pea fainted, and this is a doctor checking Porcini. And here is a picture of Porcini, the doctor taking care of Porcini, and they're putting a damn clot on Sweet Pea. And here's a picture of Porcini mad because they said he poisoned himself. Do the math, said Dr. Inswine. You ate around 30 apples, assuming an average of 5 seeds per apple. By my calculations, that's 150 seeds. Each apple seed contains imigline, which becomes cydin when chewed and digested. Eating so many apple seeds is what poisoned you. Stop eating apple seeds and you should feel better soon. Porcini was so relieved he gave Sweet Pea a whole hug and a kiss. Look, here's that, giving Sweet Pea a kiss. Detectives, I'm sorry, says Sweet Pea. I should have told you the truth, but I was scared you'd think I poisoned Porcini. How did you know the apples were from me? It was the second set of hoof prints we found on the apples. They're like Porcini's, but smaller. Those same hoof prints were found in the mud near the basket. You're the only pig on the farm with hooves that size. And then there's your blanket. My blanket? At first I thought Granny referred to Granny Hammy, but in fact, doesn't it say Granny Smith? Sweet Pea spread out her blanket for everyone to see. Granny Hammy made my blanket from a Granny Smith apple sack. Did I hear my name? Look, here's a picture of Sweet Pea. Everybody happy in this photo? Here's a Granny for a Sweet Pea. Here's a picture. Did I hear my name? Granny Hammy! Squealed Sweet Pea. Detectives, I promise I'll never eat another apple again, oinked Porcini. From now on, apples are forbidden fruit. What about my fresh baked apple pie? Asked Granny Hammy, hot out of the oven. Perhaps I can make a small exception, oinked Porcini. I'd hate to be rude. News of fresh baked apple pie traveled faster than 2 shades of lamb's tail. The captain tossed me an apple. Thanks, I said, taking a bite. Captain, maybe there's some truth to saying an apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple a day indeed. Look, here's a picture of everyone happy, and that's a Granny with the apple pie. Here everybody's happy. Food for thought. It is true that picking out on apple seeds can make you sick. Apple seeds contain amygdalin, which releases small amounts of cydin when it's chewed and comes into contact with digestive enzymes. But you would have to chew lots of apple seeds to actually get sick. So have your apple a day, and if you accidentally eat a few apple seeds, do not worry. They are safe to eat in small quantities. Like the doctor's explaining that. Here, boys and girls, the case you just read was about some bad apples that turned out to be pretty good after all. Every day there's a food problem on the farm. Sometimes it's missing or lost, sometimes it's stolen, sometimes it's just applesauce. With all these animals, you can be sure of one thing, trouble. It only takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. Whatever the food, whatever the crime, and the fires make the bad guys do the time. That's all. That's all for the book, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.